Welcome to The Advocate, your Sunday reminder that important conversations are among the necessary tools for a saner society. I'll be talking about Nigeria beyond 2023 elections. Raymond will be talking about the danger of vote buying on electorates. INEC, Victoria, will be talking about role of women in electoral processes. Felix Elijah will be talking about Nigeria at crossroad, governance in conflict with politicking. We'll be right back after the break. Nigeria beyond 2023 election. The Independent National Electoral Commission, or INEC, has released a summary of polling units and collation agents submitted by political parties. According to the data, a total of 1,574,301 party polling unit agents and 68,057 collation agents were submitted by political parties. The ruling All Progressive Congress (APC) deployed 176,223 party polling unit agents and 9,581 collation agents, while the People's Democratic Party (PDP) submitted 176,558 party polling unit agents and equally 9,539 collation agents. Other parties such as New Nigerian People's Party, Labour Party, African Democratic Congress also submitted agents for the election. This information shows that the election process requires a lot of effort and expenses to maintain. It also highlights the focus of some parties on executive position rather than a vital legislative position. To move Nigeria forward, every sector must be involved in giving equal importance. It is time for us as Nigerians to be sincere with our thoughts and actions beyond complaining. The elites, religion, and ethnic bigots need to set aside their sentiments and work together to rebuild Nigeria. Whoever wins in 2023 election should not really matter. We need to start exercising our civil and electoral rights. We have an election recall process for those who think are not meeting expectation. We always have answers, but lack the courage to take action. It is time for us to stop complaining and start taking action. We are the ones who can rebuild Nigeria of our dream, and we can do it. Let us not die in their war. May God bless Nigeria. Fellow advocates, what do you see?
You and the numbers. You have a thing for numbers, Hussein. Anyway, I like the fact that you were very detailed with the process, capturing the numbers and everything. This is an election season. From the presidential election to the gubernatorial election. What you're trying to see in summary is that there is much emphasis on the presidential election. Now, after the presidential election is gubernatorial election. So we don't have to focus our energy on just the executive alone. There is legislative there.
Exactly.
Aside that too, we can exercise our power to recall. I think recalling members of the legislative arm, you don't have to wait for an election cycle, right?
It is not even for any elected position. The electoral law gives you the room. When you see that they are underperforming, you can actually sign petition. And the electorate within those polling units recall these people and get the right people for a by-election to occur. And let us see another re-election bid for people who think they are capable. So we always have answers. So see, what I see is beyond the wailing, shouting, complaining of the executive. We so much focus on the executive, forgetting the fact that the legislators actually make rules. They are meant to be closer to the people. And that's when you see legislators are meant to come back, look at Take for example, when you're having bad road, I once said, what makes us not to make a law to say a bad road should not take more than 24 hours before it can fix? Before the executive can pass that, can act on that, the legislative has to bring it to the law.
Yeah, it's true.
But we so much think things will just happen all of a sudden.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah. One thing I also want to say is that, speaking about the civil and electoral rights, I think that citizens are not enlightened and sensitized enough. So most citizens don't know about recalling.
Yeah.
So I think that it is very, very, very important that they are sensitized and enlightened about this electoral rights and civil rights. That's one of the things that I just want to chip in. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So for me, I think we have to start thinking beyond just executive. We have to be able to see what the country has for us, what an individual candidate has for us, right? And I don't know, what do Raymond have to say about this?
Okay, guys, thank you so much. I don't know if you can hear me. I listened to you clearly, and my take on this is that, first of all, I want to say that it really matters a lot about, this the 2023 general election in Nigeria. It really matters a lot about who wins. And what I mean who wins is not just about one person, the individuals, the capacity and the character of the individuals that eventually gets to win, because that is what will eventually translate to. The people cannot really, make laws beyond who they are as individuals. So as citizens, we need to start putting that. And let me also say this. I think, I don't know about, I've seen some legislators who have been in the House for like 23 years, 20 years, 15 years. Is it possible to review some of those laws to, just like the executives, while someone can actually be elected only twice, like 4 years kind of? So is it possible to have a law that also ensures that no one person is able to represent the people for, longer than necessary, so that there is this kind of rotation among the citizens, so that there is not only one person that knows what is good for their community? That's one of the things I want to say on that. It's also important that people start also holding account whoever that gets up into there. And that's really why I'm excited about what I'm also going to be sharing about. But going forward, it really matters about who wins, because if the person is not a competent and a person of character, definitely he is also going to toe the line that every other person has told. We've seen people that have been in the House for 2 decades and absolutely nothing has been happening in their constituencies, and they've suppressed other people from actually going there, necessary in the House representing their people.
Okay, thank you, Raymond. And unfortunately, the question of the legislative, I can give you a recall talking about developed nation like United States, like Joe Biden, the current president, U.S. president, has stayed longer than probably more than 10 years in the legislative arm. So exactly. So it's more about law making and protecting those laws. It doesn't have any.
I think the review Raymond is saying, if I'm going to tweak it a bit, I would say, instead of just focusing on the tenor, they should have processes to say, okay, while you are there, within a certain stipulated time, years, you should have influenced or be involved in passing a certain bill. Because some of these senators, they go there and sit down at armchair and sleep.
So I have a little bit digress. I might be digress a little bit from there. The problem we have is just like what INEC said. It's more of the citizen understanding, they are aware. Because if you are expecting people to make a law, to make a changes in your society, but you are not doing it, there is a recall process to recall them, bring those people. Before they make a law, they have to come back to their constituency, reason with their constituency and understand what is happening here, put it on the table of the floor and make it national, because they are not just representing their community, but they can actually use a case study of what is peculiar to their community, put it on the national table, and that's why you have first reading, second reading before it's passed to law. And but even us, are we asking questions? We only ask questions from the executives. The legislative that actually really matters, that make all this law that the executive are acting upon, we are not asking them questions. Are we questioning them?
The focus is so much on the executive.
Exactly. So that's where the problem
that's
is.
Also why, that's why also, for me, that's also why I love the trajectory of the 2023 general election in Nigeria, because there seems to have been an increased level of awareness of the people, even down to the rural areas, for them to start questioning the people that they are sending out there. Because right now, nobody is now focusing anything about the party anymore, but people are beginning to focus more on individuals.
Exactly.
Which is like a very, very first step to holding people accountable, because it doesn't matter your party anymore. People want to know about what you can bring, if they can say what you can bring to the table, which is like a very first step to holding people accountable. And I think we're really getting there.
Yes. So in addition to what you said, Raymond, I think beyond holding people accountable, we also have to guide against structure. Because if today those people you think you want to hold accountable, we have killings up and down. What if those people are no more? How do we want to sustain it? It should be an ideology base, and it's a structure that can actually, help to build that kind of ideology. So we should focus also on structure down to the grass level, beyond sentiment of tribal, of religion. When it comes to tribe is your way of life, your culture and stuff like that. You should not impose your own tribe on another person. And religion is about you and God. I don't know how people mix this tribe and religion with politics. Unfortunately, the Western that thinks that we want to, they're actually taking advantage of our lapses of how we are religion and tribal settlement by God to. Well, there are lots. If we have to be eating on this, we will keep talking and talking. But we have to go. Raymond will be next just after the break. Stay with us.